Welcome back to the Fire Emblem Awakening playthrough. Last time, we defeated Walhart outside the gates of his castle, but it's not over. He's retreated, and we have one final battle of the Valm storyline. If I sound a little upset in my recording today, it's because I recently heard of the passing of a great figure in Nintendo's history, so I don't want to dwell on that too much, but yeah, I do think it's important that we all pay respects to him. He worked on some pretty amazing games, and his Iwata Asks interviews were always great. I always love reading those. Anyway, we have to continue on with the game regardless, so let's just take our minds off that for a moment.
These fools!
What's Excella's planning?
What?
Well, Walhart's thankfully heading him off. Excella's, before you were just talking about how, you kind of wanted him to get defeated in battle, so, yeah.
Yes.
So last time, we had a bit of a cliffhanger. The Dynasts had come, but they weren't enemies, so I wonder what's happening.
Yes, sir.
Yes, the Dynasts are in fact on our side. Yeah, pro tip, Excellas. Blackmailing the prince of their country. Chances are they'd be kinda pissed off if they found out about it.
How do you mean? Oh my. Faye. Very nice.
Basilio and her brother, they gave their lives so that we get here.
Are you ready?
For them, we have to end this. And of course, I'm going to go straight to the next chapter without doing any side quests or anything like that, but I might do a couple of supports first. So our next chapter is Valm Castle. Now, I actually did promise that I would say something about the continent of Valm before we actually did this, because it's kind of important. This is a detail that's never mentioned in the game itself, but on a Japanese website dedicated to providing background material for this game, which I'm very annoyed never got officially translated, they mention that Valm is, in fact, the continent of Valentia from the second Fire Emblem game, Fire Emblem Gaiden. Not only that, but it derives its name from Alm, the protagonist of, well, one of the two protagonists of that game, and the one who eventually went on to become the founder of the unified continents. Also, Walhart is implied to be in some way a descendant of Alm. This is, again, never stated in the game itself, but it is implied from supplementary materials. And that's kind of strange, because I really don't think Alm would approve of Walhart's methods here. But anyway, we have a lot of supports to go through after that last chapter. But we've put off Longku and Owain's B for a while, so I might as well do that one now.
Well...
This is another one of those mood whiplash supports, so get ready for that.
Pardon?
This is Owain. That kind of behavior is normal for him. This hints at something about Owain that, you might have suspected for a little while, but we'll fully get into that later.
Hmm?
We even get a change of music to accommodate the new mood.
Pardon? What?
This is interesting, and this support leads into one of the main reasons why I actually like, why Longku is my favourite partner for Lissa, is because you might remember that in Lissa and Longku's supports, something very similar happened there. We'll find out more in their A support. But anyway, more supports. You know what? Yarn has unlocked a few supports with his parents. I may as well do these. Let's get the more comical one out of the way first.
Right.
See, what I would say was the number of stats that you gained over the course of that chapter, because that was insane. But yeah, every father has a different line that they say here.
Don't mess with a bunny!
Also, the thing about tactics, this actually made a lot of sense when my avatar was Yarn's father. Yeah, kind of a nice callback to Gaius' supports with Palm there in knowing about Targwell having excellent hearing. Again, those lines made a lot of sense with the Avatar, but that's just my opinion. And that's kind of ironic, because it's possible for Yarn to actually romance Lucina, so,
Yep.
and yet more of the, future child's parent issues.
Ah.
And this support, I guess that one actually got darker at the end, but this one has a more of a lighter note. Yeah, that did sound kind of weird coming from her.
Well,
Of course, he's also insanely powerful, so yeah. But yeah, the thing with Yarn is, while he is kind of a coward a lot of the time, he has a perfectly good reason for being like that.
you.
And even then, he comes from a bad future. Now, this is probably a good time to mention a fan theory that I've heard about Yarn and Pan that I actually have as my personal headcanon. There's a fan theory that in the bad future timeline, Yarn actually did have a lot of siblings. I mean, after all, rabbits are known for having lots of children. Yarn actually did have siblings, and all of them except him died, which explains why he's so paranoid all the time. As sad as it is, that's actually my personal headcanon for how things happen, because it does actually make a lot of sense.
Thank you.
I really like those supports about the two of them actually having to learn how to be a family. It's really nice, and actually, I find it surprisingly believable given how exaggerated a lot of the supports are in this game. It's part of the reason why I like Pan so much as a character. Most characters in this game have kind of a bit of a significant quirk to them. Pan Hans is more of her backstory rather than her actual personality, so character-wise, I find her to be one of the most quote-unquote normal characters in this game. Anyway, though.
My lady.
Now, this support here actually has Tiki's theme, so already I'm liking this.
I.
Oh, by the way, in case you don't know old-timey words, Ken means knowledge.
I see.
Faye.
Well...
How could this happen?
Wow, she's reacting the same way she did when her brother died. Sleep. But there are no sleep stars in this game. What's going on here? I love that the dragon equivalent of 5 more minutes is 5 more years.
No.
My lady.
Guess what?
So be it.
Yes.
This is one of Cyrene's few supports, so I wanted to go for it. It's one of my... Yeah, as you can see, only Mary Sue and Tiki. She really suffers gameplay-wise from a massive lack of supports. That's why I want to build her up with Tiki a lot. Let's see, Libra and Laurent, Rickon and Brady B. Just thinking about this. I might do the Rickon and Brady one later, and I don't actually plan on using Libra and Laurent in the next chapter, so... We've done 4 supports already. That seems as good enough of a point to leave it. Just check to see if anything's found in... Oh, hey, a birthday! Wait a minute! Is this the birthday that I think it is? It might just be. Yes! Yes, it is! Yes, it's Wayne the Giant Ham's almighty birthday! Yes! Yes! I plan to use him in this next battle anyway, and strength and skill is amazing to gain from that. Okay, now if this turns out to be a stick, I'll laugh. Oh wait, it's just experience. Here it is. Okay, now if this turns out to be a stick, I'll laugh. Superior Lance, not bad, but he can't really use that. I'm glad I checked the barracks, I almost didn't. That's funny, because Muriel's the one who organizes the shelves. Noe, interesting. Glass. Why am I getting so many glass lances? Lucinda and Rickon. Well, Rickon always wanted to be more like Crom. Meeting his daughter's probably a good step. Sadly, I don't think I'm going to use her in this next chapter, so that's going to be useless. But, Owain, yes, it is Owain's birthday, and that is amazing. Where is he? And yeah, his skill's gone over 40 thanks to that boost. This is amazing. And I'm planning on using him in this next battle, so let's get right to it. Let's begin. Chapter 20, The Sword or the Knee. This is gonna make sense later, trust me. When I first saw that title, I was thinking, what? We're at the throne room of Walhart's castle. We can't get any more final than this. Obviously. I mean, why would anyone be scared of you? Wow, Excellus, you're even dumber than I thought. Yeah, blurt that out right in front of the guy you're serving.
Amusing.
Now, this line is, I don't know how to feel about this line. Let me just explain this. On the one hand, it is an interesting reveal, but on the other hand, it's part of why the Valm arc is actually my least favorite arc in this game. And that's because this line right here is pretty much the only connection between this arc and the rest of the game. If you ignored basically this part, you could kind of remove the Valm arc from the game entirely, and the plot wouldn't change very much at all. There are a few other connections we'll be seeing later, but it's just... I really feel like the Valm arc, in the grand scheme of things, it really is just filler. It has some good moments, but it's not really part of the main plotline of this game. They probably should have worked it into its own story. And it seems like everyone has designs on the Fire Emblem. No one seems to realize that it's actually cursed, according to the Arcadia games. But yes, Walhart is a lot smarter than we thought, and Excellus is a lot dumber than he thought. Turns out, Walhart knew all along that he was treacherous. But...
This is nature.
why hasn't he killed him? Well... he knows that Excellus is no threat at all. And he amuses him, so he keeps him alive. Yeah.
Ah, these fools!
Yep. As much as Excellus fancied himself one of this game's major players, he was just comic relief all along. And now he's having a full-on Phoenix Wright breakdown. Oh, yes! Okay, as much as Walhart is our enemy at this point, I have to applaud him for doing this.
Stand up and fight!
And that!
I am inexorable!
Again, despite him being an antagonist, you can't help but applaud for Walhart at this point. Also, that clanking sound his arm makes is really awesome. Oh. See, Excellus is one of those characters who suffers horribly, and yet he deserves every bit of it. You can't help but feel so satisfied at all this happening. Oh yeah, the problem is I think both of them could easily one-shot you. Well, looks like he's already considering backstabbing. Really? Really? Well, we'll see about that. So, we're here in the halls of Valm Castle itself. These huge red, literal red carpets. It certainly does look like a fitting place for a final confrontation. Also, these statues look really cool with 3D on, believe me. The enemies here, like the last chapter, are also mostly level 8 promoted as well, and we also have to watch out for these warriors, because some of them have counter. Let's see, no counter, no counter. Yeah, a few of these warriors do have counter though, trust me, so you have to be careful of that. We have generals, we have... So, wait a minute. Actually, yes, I don't think there are any mounted units in this chapter at all, so balancing out the fact the last chapter was nearly all mounted units, we now have pretty much no mounted units, so that's interesting. But the most special thing about this chapter, in my opinion, is we've got Cervantes right there. He's in fact back. I think his stats are the same as they were when we fought him last. We also have Excellus finally on the field of battle once again. He's got both Magic +2, Tome Fair, and on hard mode a Forge Bolganone. He actually hits quite hard, but he is also fairly fragile, and I know just who to send after him. And of course, we have Walhart the Conqueror himself. His stats are exactly the same as they were in the last chapter, except this time he's equipped with his personal axe, the Wolfberg. It's a throwing axe with ridiculously high attack power, and a critical rate of 5, so yeah. Unfortunately, we can't actually use it since it's exclusive to him. Also, as you can tell by him actually having a movement rating, despite being a throne boss, he will actually get off the throne to fight you, unlike most Fire Emblem throne bosses. But yeah, that's the thing that I love about this chapter. Not one, not two, we have 3 boss fights in this chapter. So that's pretty epic. Anyway, who we're going to bring here? Brady did quite a lot in the last chapter. I don't think it's really safe to use Olivia here. Pan paired up with Yarn for quite a bit. I want to still bring Yarn though, mostly because I am going to need to bring Gaius this time, because we have some chests that we need to open here. Where is Gaius? There he is. Next, I've used Stahl, Sully, and Stully Incarnate a lot lately, so let's get rid of them. Not sure that I need Laurent or Libra here either, or Maribel. Definitely going to want to bring Cyree here. You want to bring Cyree to this chapter, trust me. It just feels wrong not to use her here. Speaking of feeling wrong not to use a certain character here, I feel we need to bring Shursh and Virion along. They were originally from Valm after all. Walhart chased them out of their land. It's only fitting they should be here for the final battle against him. And, speaking of people it's only fitting that should be here, Owain! We need him! We need him now! For we must fight Hammy Villain with Hammy Hero. And bring Lonku as well, because we haven't used him in a while, and I need Lissa for healing. Now, with that, we have 4 more deployment slots, and I want to bring Kellum and Tharia here, because it's an indoor map, they don't have as many wide open spaces to move around, so yeah, high defense character like Kellum and also Tharia is going to be quite helpful to have here. We do have to watch out for some of the mages though, but apart from that, this shouldn't be too bad. We can select 2 more characters, and... Oh, of course, wait, we need Lucina, of course we do. And we're sadly going to have to pair her up with Gary Stu, because I need to max out their support. Also need to max out her support with Mary Sue, I've forgotten to do that lately. Now, there is a thief in this chapter who's going to go after the chests, but he's only on one side of the map, and he's the only thief that is here. Because of this, I'm going to put Gaius on the other flank. And of course, Yarn's going to go there for his pair-up bonuses. Now, the central... Basically, you want to split your army into a few groups. The left, right, and the central fronts. The central front is by far the most intense, because not only will we be fighting a lot of enemies, we'll also have to deal with basically all 3 bosses. So you want your best fighters to be on the central front. Either that, or the people that you want to gain the most experience on the central front. Now... Lucina and Morgan are already quite over-leveled as it is. I'm not sure, in my practice run I actually used them there, but I'm wondering if that's a good idea or not. Kellum and Tharia might be useful here for the extreme defense that they'll have here. And Tharia will do okay against these ones. Now, I definitely want Cyree to be on the in the central front though. Definitely want Cyree there. So we've got Owain here, them there, and on this side we have... Doesn't exactly matter what side Shursh and Virion are on, although... I wouldn't mind them going into the central flank as well. Just for the experience, although there are a lot of powerful enemies, and a lot of magic users and a lot of archers, so Shursh might have it pretty badly there. But I think this is alright of a setup at the moment, though I may want to move Cyree a bit further. Although you... Oh no, I think that's fine. And with this, I think it's time to start the chapter. The final battle against Walhart begins. He won't be seated there for long, though.
Wow.
Yep, we're gonna have to fight most of them. For some reason, that conversation just seems to end so abruptly. But anyway, definitely making a precautionary save here. Okay, beginning this chapter with pair-ups, obviously, because that's how we always begin basically every chapter. Lissa doesn't get a pair-up, but she has a support from Owain and Lonku anyway. Now, on this central flank, I like to have Cyree equip the Amatsu, because it lets her counterattack against 1 to 2 range enemies, of which there are quite a few here, especially the enemy magic users. In fact, I might go so far as to have her attack in direct range. None of these guys have counter, which is good. I would like a dual strike here. Nice one.
My gratitude.
That's one less enemy we need to worry about. Next, gotta be careful here because sometimes Crom actually takes quite a bit of a beating here despite his good evasion rate.
I will not fail.
Though criticalling there is a good sign. I went for the heroes because they have a higher hit rate, and that's usually what matters the most here. Sort of want to try and take out these sages as well, but... Well, firstly, what I need to do is... I need to equip a weapon on Kellum. Although that might work against me when I'm using Nosferatu, you'll see why on the enemy phase. Might as well try and use this old beaten up Nosferatu to get it out of the way.
You're already dead.
I really wish Vengeance was just banned from activating when you had full HP, because it's completely pointless. Also, Kellum very slowly seals this guy's doom.
Satisfied?
And gets a double level up into the bargain, which is pretty cool. Pretty much raising all of her good stats and one of her bad ones, which is useful. As for Kellum, yeah, that was pretty good too. Most of his good stats going up. Now with that, I want to get Gaius over to the chest as soon as I can, but I thought Gaius might need an Armor Slayer here. Turns out that his strength is so good that he does almost as much damage as most Armor Slayer users, even with a normal, non-effective weapon. He's just that strong. And Yarn is just that strong.
Thanks.
Yarn is kind of ridiculous, as you're about to see with this level up. Yeah, that was a really good level up. Wow, just look at those stats though. That high skill and speed on someone with that much strength, that's just insane. Anyway, speaking of insane, that's how we'll describe the amount of damage Church is going to do with this hammer. Unless this guy activates Pavis against a few of them. You might notice Virion actually struck twice on that Jewel Strike there. Brave weapons let you do that. Oh, and hey, Pavis was completely pointless. Part of the reason why Brave weapons are so overpowered in this game is that they, let you attack twice on Jewel Strikes and give you double the chance of a Jewel Strike. It's kind of incredibly overpowered, and that's why I don't really like using them all that much. Gonna equip the Armor Slayer on Long Ku, otherwise he does absolutely terrible damage on Jewel Strikes here. Or he could just not Jewel Strike at all. Yeah, why didn't you Jewel Strike there? That's weird. Anyway, though, I unequipped Lucina's weapons in the last chapter because we were trying to prolong things, so I'm going to have to equip them back again. Let's try Micaiah's Pyre.
I'm right here.
Pretty much drops a meteor on the enemy, which is kind of awesome.
Game over.
Someone also asked why the Ignis animation displays flower petals. I'm not really sure that now's a good time to talk about it just yet. Why did Lucina's Jewel Strike experience show up, despite the fact that she didn't Jewel Strike? That's kind of weird. Unless she Jewel Struck and it did nothing. It wouldn't have done nothing though, that's kind of weird. Anyway, finish this guy off, just to keep Lissa out of danger. And yeah, that guy likes to move first, and for some reason he likes to attack Kellum and Tharia. Now, you don't need to worry about attacking him with specific characters in this one. Unlike the last time we saw him, Cervantes has no special boss quotes in this chapter. He does have a very bizarre pun, though.
Good luck.
In fact, if I get lucky with Jewel Strikes, he could go down right now.
I'm over here.
Or not. And that was only because the Nosferatu broke, oh well.
I've got you.
You're annoying. Yeah, this is why I equipped the Amatsu on Sairi.
Victory time. They won't get past me.
Well, that's at least going to make a tiny amount of difference.
You're all right.
Now, an Ether here would be useful, or a Dual Guard, that's good too. Or that.
Thank you.
No thanks, friend, that time. Whoa, really nice! Really, really nice. That is pretty amazing, actually. We lost Mary Sue's L Thunder, but it's no real big loss at this point.
Careful.
I think it's the enemies who should be careful here. She just completely...
Do you like darkness?
She regained her HP and then activated Vengeance, of course.
Killing is my job.
Yeah, you might have wanted to reverse that Vengeance activation and non-Vengeance activation there, Sairi. You know, would have been more useful that way. And again, this is why I equipped the Amatsu. Although unless Tiki Jewel strikes, this will fall just short. Yep, just short, but that's probably fine. Of course, you went for one who can't counterattack. The enemy AI does prioritize characters who can't counterattack, so that's pretty much how the AI works. It basically goes, I think if there's nothing else in their priority list, like usually it is if they can kill someone, they will go for them. If not, attack the person with the lowest defense or resistance, depending on what they've got equipped, and prioritize people who can't counterattack.
Watch out.
Though, strangely enough, this Sage, could you just not get into uncounter-attackable range with Crom or something?
I can handle
Actually, I don't think he could have, so that's fine. Also... Okay, finally I get to show this quote from Tharia. Yeah! As if she wasn't creepy and yandere enough, her, bad level up quote is directed specifically at the player. Yeah! That's equal parts hilarious and creepy, I find.
I can help. Back off. Surprise.
satisfied.
But the central front seems to be going pretty well. And speaking of which, these enemies on the other front aren't actually moving yet. Cervantes is still surviving. Now, who do I use to... Let's see, Axe, and Lance. Actually, probably best to switch over to Mary Sue for this.
My strength.
Doing the most damage here, and getting some more experience for the one who's lower leveled.
Anything can change.
And the fact that Crom equipped a Lance on the... That was a nice jump there. Had to go from right next to the enemy to jumping back to catch that javelin. It's spear, whatever. But yeah, giving extra experience to the one who needs it more, and then that happened. Mary Sue, you're supposed to be perfect. What I actually think would be fitting here, though, is to take Cervantes down with the character that he was imprisoning within the military. So, let's do this. Revenge! I do kind of feel bad for Cervantes having to die here, because he's actually one of the least evil of Walhart's generals. And really, when I first saw pictures of him in Famitsu, me and a lot of other people assumed that he'd actually be playable, because he actually fits a playable character archetype in the Fire Emblem series. That of the Lorenz, or a character who joins as a pre-promoted general, who usually is a high-ranking general in the enemy army, and yet can still be convinced to join
You
you.
deserved worse.
Cervantes pretty much fits that, actually, so it's a bit of a surprise that he wasn't recruitable. Guess they decided, you know what, let's not give them a pre-promote general this time. You have no counter, that's good, you're safe to attack.
Breathe deep.
But, yeah, that whole idea of a pre-promote general that you recruit from the enemy, it's a recurring thing in the series. Nearly every game has one, so I'm surprised this game doesn't. Of course, there was the utter horror that was Xavier in Fire Emblem 5. Oh, wow, I still have traumatic flashbacks to recruiting Xavier. Oh, that was awful. Yeah, anyone who was wondering, try looking up videos of Fire Emblem 5 and Xavier in that game.
Just as planned.
It's horrendous. Imagine the protecting villager side quests in this game, only even worse, and, well, that's all I really need to say. About 1,000 times worse. It's just, oh. Let me put it this way, yeah, let me put it this way. Xavier is the one character, and I'm a little worried here, because this guy actually hit Gaius in my last attempt, which resulted in him dying, strangely enough.
Piece of cake.
Gaius, however, remembers what happened last time, and got his revenge.
Huh.
But yeah, Xavier, the one time that my policy of always recruit everyone, that's the one time that I ever actually regretted that policy. I still recruited him though, but yeah. It's not even all that worth it, but that was just painful. Also, this hero has the Zeal skill, if you look closely there, which implies that he promoted from fighter and not mercenary, which is kind of interesting. You'll sometimes see sages show up with Miracle as well, which is actually really annoying when you're fighting them as enemies, but, and an elixir, which I kind of want to get to Lissa, although I did give her one at the start of this chapter anyway. I actually prefer having Lissa close to the central part of this map. We do want to be moving quickly from the, starting point, though. For reasons that will become obvious eventually. I kind of had a feeling that would hit. Sometimes you can just tell, and wow, Blue Mama! Sometimes you can just tell when things are going to hit.
You can do this.
I actually had a feeling that one would miss, so yeah. My intuition hasn't been off yet. Well, skill's over 20 now. Oh yeah, and of course, you're attacking him from close range because of that bow. Good dodge there. That would have been kind of awkward if it hit. Thankfully, though, this guy has no choice but to attack someone who can counterattack him. Though he is hurting a lot.
Forgetting someone.
Bonk.
Many thanks.
And I knew you would attack Lissa.
With all speed. Behold.
Yep, no one hurts Lissa while his amazing, yeah, her amazing son is around. Wow, I just said his. I'm not really too worried about that guy. Yeah, we'll get to him long before he flees the map. Speaking of getting to things, we're about at the second wave of enemies here. Let me just check. Okay, none of those warriors have counter, that's good. Oh, and hey, just what I was saying, I knew one of these stages would have Miracle, but that can get annoying sometimes. It's got a luck % chance of activating, so you don't see it that often on enemies, but still. Excellus actually hits kind of hard, though, so I am kind of worried about him, as strange as that seems. Virion needs more experience here, so I'll attack with him.
This one's ours.
Wow, this is good, that he'll survive with 1 HP if he does get hit. And despite being an arrow 12, that was not actually a critical. I do kind of need Lissa to get in with that Fortify staff, though. She can't quite reach him, though, unfortunately. But I can heal those two. No harm in continuing to advance with these guys. Yeah, it's probably still a good idea to use Fortify. And it gives a ton of experience as well, which is pretty cool. Fortify has always sort of done that, but very noticeable in this game, because staves generally don't give all that much experience here. Now, these enemies are all going to come charging at us soon-ish, but For now, I actually feel like Tiki with the dragons, and ironically, she has a Draco shield. She should do a good job in tanking them and luring Excelis over, because we've got something very special planned for him. Oh, yes, we do. Something very, very special planned for Excelis. Trust me on that. That's probably fine, and maybe just in range of one enemy. And yeah, I've got Gaius on this side because the thief is on the other side, so we'll let that guy do our dirty work for us. Hello there, members of Excelis' contingent. I feel so sorry for you having to be stuck with him, so let's just put you out of your misery. That was kind of uncalled for, but oh well. Teki is actually surprisingly evasive for a Manakete, which is pretty cool. I mean, Noe will get that good eventually too, but... And this is another reason why I like generals. They may get doubled occasionally, but very often the enemy does pathetic damage anyway. Of course, if they get doubled by mages, it's basically all over, but... speaking of annoying things though, longbows are back. Thought we would never have to deal with them again after that really, really annoying paralog with Brady, right? Wrong!
Are you ready?
I hate longbows so much now.
Hold on, I'm coming.
The only, I think literally the only way to counterattack them is with another longbow. Wow, Excelis really is a coward. He's not moving at all until we get into his range. Pretty much in character for him, I will admit, so I give props to the AI design for at least taking his personality into account. The question is Mary Sue safe going here? The only thing about longbows is they can still attack from 2 range as well as 3 range.
Time to tip the scales.
Mary Sue shares my loathing for longbow enemies, the one thing we have in common. Speaking of my loathing of longbow enemies, I believe this guy is next on our to-die list. And... okay, a longbow enemy I'm not doubling. That's kind of rare. Yeah, technically that's more efficient, but I really, really don't... wait a minute. You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna put aside my hatred of longbows for a moment. This is more logical. It's a guaranteed one less enemy to worry about, and honestly, they're actually a bigger threat than the longbow guys anyway. As much as I don't like to admit it. And I think I'm fine just going for the regular Dragonstone here.
Keep your wits about you.
I guess that's fine. Can Lissa get into a position where she can heal Virion? I can see her healing range on the bottom screen here, and that's not quite in range. And that's also not quite in range. Well, Shersh isn't as injured as Virion is, so I think Shersh can take over for a bit. Especially seeing as, okay, no wind, that's good. Just have to make sure that, well, yeah, thankfully, these walls are thick enough that longbow arrows can't go over them. Unlike walls in, yeah, my only worry with doing this is that Excelis would actually start going this way, and I really don't want him to do that. Speaking of things we really don't want him to do, well, we don't want Excelis to do anything, but, we don't want him to, be in range of Gaius, because that would definitely provoke him into going this way, and, we really, really don't want that to happen. In fact, for the time being, I'll just have Virion hover out of range here. Just because, like I said, I do not want Excellus to do much of anything. But especially not, yeah, be provoked into going over this side. And Lissa's the only one who hasn't moved. And she should be fine over here. So the thief got one of these chests as spirit dust, but we should get him before he has a chance to escape. I mean, Owain's in his path after all.
Right.
It's one general down.
My strength is yours.
Okay, I think Mary Sue's definitely safe now.
You're finished.
So the thing about Ignis that I wanted to mention, I recently looked it up because I only ever read about Ignis's Japanese name from translations online that had it translated as Magnificent Flame. And while that's technically a valid translation, I actually went and looked at the, I went and looked at its actual kanji, and it turns out the first kanji character in its Japanese name can also mean flower, or especially cherry blossom. And that does fit with its animation. So that kind of got lost in translation a little bit. Like, I see why they named it Ignis to sort of fit with the whole Latin naming of the activation skill names, like Astra and Luna, but yeah, I'm still wondering how they could have fit that flower double meaning in there somewhere. Might be a reference to the fact that in Japanese, fireworks are literally called flower fire.
Have another.
Here's how it's done.
And here's yet more flower fire.
Right.
This might sound a little bit off topic, but whenever a character in Fire Emblem does one of those critical animations where they sort of, like do an upward thrust with the sword and leap into the air, I always used to call that a sword Ryuken. Because, you know, it looks like a... I don't need to explain it.
Hold on, I'm coming.
Yeah, the sword Ryuken animation was really popular in a lot of the earlier games when pretty much every sword user critical that way. You don't see it as much now, though.
Malcolm dead.
Did happen a few times in Path of Radiance, though.
We're not in
I guess while we're on the subject of that, a bit off topic, but I always found it interesting that Path of Radiance, every class's critical hit animation, they actually had two separate critical animations for critical and kill and critical and not kill, so interesting. But we've got a warning about reinforcements. The thing about this chapter's reinforcements is, though, they actually don't come for a while, and there's only one wave of them. The reinforcements in this chapter are actually pretty pathetic, though symbolically I think this really makes sense. I'll talk about this later once we actually see them, though. So, long story short, don't worry too much about the reinforcements here. We have plenty of time to get out of the way of them. And they're not too threatening in the first place.
I could have stayed home.
Father and son bonding by slicing enemy armor to ribbons. And I believe if I go here, the thief will actually be forced to attack Gary Stu. Unless he's going to open the other chest, but doesn't really matter. We'll get all the items that he has anyway. So, what we need to do here, firstly, is to clear out as many of these guys as possible. Firstly, clear out this sage.
My strength is yours. My turn.
Thanks.
That's going to hopefully give Crom extra weapon experience. And Mary Sue is one level off learning a new skill. And over there, yeah, Excellus won't be able to attack from over there. Gotta make sure there's only one person who can attack Excellus, because we all know there's only one person who, yeah, we have to take him down with someone very specific. It really can't be anyone else.
We can do this.
I'm not fast if this...
You're already dead.
But he's already dead anyway. I was about to say I'm not fussed if this doesn't critical, because I could actually finish him with Cyree anyway, but that did critical, so that was pointless to worry about that. And now, Alone, Excellus is absolutely no threat, so let's equip Yanfei's sword, because otherwise Excellus, the coward that he is, would attack us from a range that we can't counterattack from, and watch the awesomeness unfold. Although, firstly, I kind of want to, well, finish my turn, the rest of my turn. Because Listen does need to get away as far away from the early part of the map as possible, but like I said, it's not really that big a deal to worry about the reinforcements. Okay, you have a Tomahawk, so attacking with Virion might not be the best idea. And those guys up there have physics staves, and that one's droppable, so I want to make sure that he doesn't waste it. Let's see. If worst comes to worst, though, that could end very badly, but I'm going to take my chances.
I'm right here.
Worst case scenario being if this guy hits, and he hits again in the next turn.
Forgetting someone.
Okay, well, I should have equipped a better weapon on Shirsh there, because I now have to get rid of you, because otherwise you do stand a fairly good chance of killing Virion. And wow, more of an evasion rate than even Gaius. Which is pretty amazing. So that's how much damage does Yarn take there. 26, and Yarn takes 19 from you. Pretty sure that, although there is another warrior over there. And that guy has Miracle, which could be a problem. But I'll go for this anyway. So yeah, Miracle gives him a luck % chance of surviving a lethal hit. I don't think it works for Dual Strikes though. Correct me if I'm wrong, but most most protection-based skills don't work on Dual Strikes.
Not shining.
Okay, yeah, there's no way that Virion can die this turn. Here we go! It's time.
Really?
Yanfei. We can do this. Pay attention.
At last, Yanfei can rest in peace. And at last, the world is free of that hideous abomination. I gotta say, they often talk about characters who are pretty on the outside but ugly within. Excellus is one of those rare characters who is hideously ugly on the outside, and his actual personality is even uglier, so good thing he's gone. And wow, that thief didn't actually attack us. But remember I said that he'll have to go through a Wayne if he wants to escape? Yeah, I stand by that claim. I actually feel really bad for him now. That was pretty much the definition of overkill, but at least we got the stolen item back. So we get that Spirit Dust, which is, yeah, that's pretty useful sometimes. There isn't all that much left here apart from Walhart himself. That will change relatively soon, but it won't be changed for long. As much as I kind of want to use Virion to finish this guy off because he needs the experience more, that might be a bad idea. Although, there's no risk to doing this, is there? Pretty sure there isn't.
I'm right here. Allow me.
And even the hand axe was enough to finish him.
Was poetry.
Yes, yes it was. I was about to say I'd be happy as long as he gains both strength and speed, and he did gain both, which is great. And with that, we can finally... I was about to say feast on the treasure room. That sounds really weird, but yeah. Finally enter the treasure room and gain the spoils within. Now, Walhart himself is not going to move until we enter his range, but the chapter does actually end when he's defeated. So we might want to prolong that a bit, because there's going to be not many reinforcements, but still one wave of reinforcements. Ironically, one of the only people who needs healing here is Lissa herself. Might have to do that, unfortunately. In fact, I might preemptively move Kellum back to deal with some reinforcements. Though I think I need Lucina and Gary Stu on the main front. And here we go. Yep. Here are the reinforcements. The good news is, there is only one wave of reinforcements in this chapter. These reinforcements are all there is. Did that guy up the top of the map just go back to his spots? That's interesting. Yeah, some of these generals might have rally defense randomly, so that's going to give these guys, well, more defense, obviously. Okay, no counter. What happened? Is there another warrior there? No counter, good. And yeah, you're not even doubling Kellum. Though Tharia's kind of hogging the experience, but I may need to use her here. That's a pretty bad hit rate, let me just see. Though I can have a better chance of taking these generals out. Again, completely useless vengeance. What is it with you doing this?
I'm over here.
Really?
You're already dead.
No, you're actually not already dead. You're in fact already...
Some more.
You're not going to live with 1 HP, but you are going to live with 1 HP. That was the fight of verbal backpedaling, wasn't it? That was, actually, I admit, kind of amusing, but still painfully frustrating. Let's see, hopefully Owain can get some of the glory here. And, Virion really, really needs healing. Gaius, let's just help ourselves to the treasure chest here. Dragonstone Plus. That's, yeah, going to replace the one that Tiggy's been using, and I might put that one on Noe, actually. Or another character that we'll be getting soon. And likewise, that chest on the other side contains something important as well, but I'll hold off on getting that for now. Once again, doubling back, because we need some a share of the reinforcement experience too. Crom's kind of overleveled as it is, though. Let's see, technically Cyree doesn't really need all that much experience here, but couldn't really hurt to send her back there. Lissa definitely needs to stay away. Okay, who will... So it's the mages who have the highest attack range. Let's see if I can bait at least one of them over. But yeah, the good news about these reinforcements is there's only one wave of them. Getting hit when then critically, despite the fact that you won't drain anything with Nosferatu, is actually not that good. But I like the symbolic value of the reinforcements in this chapter just being so few. They're calling upon all their forces to defend Walhart the Conqueror, and only one wave comes. This shows that either Walhart just... Well, really, overall what it shows is Walhart just does not have many loyal troops left. Either they're just... This is all there are left, or he has more troops, but they've all deserted him by now because they know that he's pretty much done for. I do like the symbolic nature of that. The fact that right here, the final battle of the Valmark, and the reinforcements are just pathetic, because, yeah, Walhart just does not have any loyal followers left. Meanwhile, dark magic. Yeah, dark magic. In fact, if they're leveling up this well, I might actually do their child paralogue soon.
I'm right beside you.
Yeah, this guy's gonna join the Get Horribly Murdered by Dark Magic Club.
Do you like darkness?
I don't think he does, but it's of no consequence to her because he's gone now. That would be... okay, some of the warriors do have bows. Only the reinforcement ones, though, strangely enough.
Have some more.
And Kellum needs some of the action, at least. And I'm pretty sure this means none of the remaining enemies can actually get in range of us. Still rallying defense, though, which is annoying, but they will hopefully be gone soon enough. 2 silver lances and a couple of ranged axes and a ranged lance. See, I actually almost think that Callum and Tharia are getting a bit too much experience here. I might have to hold back on them for a little bit. Also, we're going to use the legendary Blade of Legend, because why not? The +1 skill definitely helped in getting that Astra.
No way.
See, again, usually you don't get cut-ins when criticaling mid-Astra, but for some reason Cyree did when she was doing it at range there. I know it can happen because I have seen a lot of videos of Olivia doing Astra and criticaling towards the end and doing her incredibly hilarious cut-in quotes. No, they're both level 8, that's good. The other good thing is this guy doesn't have counter. I hope we actually get a Tomahawk soon. For some reason, I always thought the boss would drop his... one of the bosses, Cervantes, would drop his Tomahawk, but he doesn't. Just drops a Draco Shield, which is a lot less valuable in this game than it is in most other Fire Emblems, because you can very easily buy stat boosters in this one. Wow, 11 damage from an enemy magic user. I mean, granted, it is a wind magic user, but still. I guess the developers must have thought wind magic was ridiculously overpowered back in Fire Emblem 4.
Wow.
Mostly because all the other magic was grossly underpowered, but still. Like, fire magic weighed so much that if you even attempted to use it, you would have, like, no speed. Huh. Who wants to get these enemies? I think I'll leave these for Owain and Shersh and possibly those two. Yeah, I'll leave them up here, and I may need to do some rescue staffing to get Gaius around to this side. And I'm not in range of rescue staff there. I will be next turn, though. So, yeah. Like I said, only one way for reinforcements here. Yes, it looks like you can heal with the dual sword. Oh yeah, of course! The short spear would break just in time for him to be unable to counterattack this guy. Ugh, stupid rally defense. Well, Shersh can get within range of one of them, at least. Oh-ho! Rally defense does not rally your own defense, and that might end up sealing your demise. If Virion cooperates here. Or Shersh just criticals.
I bid you farewell.
But what? 2 7% criticals in a row? That's insane! Shersh really wants to liberate her homeland. Guess that is fitting. Though she hasn't gained defense in a little while. But yeah, those are some pretty good all-round physical stats. Kind of wish that Owain could... You know what? This might seem like a bit of a waste, but... I have 2 more uses of the rescue staff, I might as well, and we can buy them pretty easily from this point on. And I have to use an Armor Slayer here, otherwise this would be really embarrassing. And wow, her Nosferatu's gone down to 1 use. Definitely gonna have to buy another one of those. Good thing we can buy them. In a lot of other Fire Emblem games, Nosferatu tomes are quite rare. I remember in Sacred Stones, Nosferatu was one of the only items in the game that you can't actually buy from world map shops. The only way to get any more after you beat the game was to go to the Tower of Valmy, I believe. Now let's go for Mikaya's Pyre here.
Together.
How fitting for Gary Stu to use the weapon of a character who is often considered to be a Mary Sue. Personally, I don't think Micaiah is a Mary Sue at all, but that's a discussion for another day.
Farewell.
That sounded incredibly creepy, that farewell. Well, at least he gained magic this time. And that leaves, apart from the enemies near Walhart, only, yeah, 1 enemy left. And all of the event tiles are quite close to where Walhart is. Now, at this point, I want to lock in his range. Because underestimating his range is very, very bad. Walhart does have a 1 to 2 range weapon, so, ironically, that means that he tends to be kind of a coward and not attack you up close, but, kind of how things work with him. Now, I think I can, although... Don't think... No, you wouldn't be in range. Crom's probably fine equipping a lance there. And as for everyone else... why not have Cyree on the forefront of this battle? Gotta be careful that Walhart doesn't get in range of Lissa, because that's a recipe for disaster. Walhart's speed is actually so good that he can in fact double quite a few characters. And yet another amazing level up for Owain on his birthday. Well, that was decent. Sort of jumping the gun there, but oh yeah, that's effective! I was wondering how much of a hit rate you'd have, and then I was like, oh! No hit rates! Also, you get Astrid. I kind of wish he got Astra on Excellus or Critical Team, but the fight went okay anyway. Very soon we'll be down to just Walhart. Well, she seems to be wanting to Astra pretty much everything that isn't Excellus.
A fight well won.
Another hero, and soon I definitely want to get rid of that that War Monk. Keep thinking of them in their Japanese names. War Monk before we fight Walhart, otherwise Walhart will be getting healed.
Finished?
He doesn't have his Soul Sword anymore, so he's not going to be randomly healing himself. It's almost time to face off with Walhart for the final time, and I left a chest there. I can probably have Lissa just rescue him over. This does mean that I might have to prolong this chapter a bit, though. Let's get everyone ready for the final fight of this story arc. And it's actually a pretty epic one if everything goes right. Now, the reason why, despite Crom being a bit over-leveled, I am using him against these enemies here is because I want him to reach level 15 after defeating Walhart, because it'll be a very symbolic thing to happen. You'll see.
I will not fail.
But I do kind of have to prolong this until we get these chests, so you might have to, unfortunately, sit through a bunch of... let's see if we can get a support boost out of this. No support boost. Well, she's already in an A rank, so that weapon proficiency upgrade did nothing.
I'm indebted.
And we're going to have to make sure that we're all healed, because Walhart hits like, well, he hits like a truck attached to another truck that's on fire. And is carrying dragons. Yeah. Beast Stone Plus. That is the thing that I really wanted to get in this chapter. I said before that we would be getting another Beast Stone Plus soon. Yeah. It's that one. And low turn count is going to be like, oh no, you're wasting turn to do this. I always cared more about experience, like overall experience gained, than I cared about turn count, which is why I never really liked doing ranked runs in the first place. In fact, I've never really done a ranked run apart from my completely coincidental AAA rank in Heroes of Light and Shadow, because that game, well, that game pretty much always gives you a AAA rank if you don't ever want to die. I mean, the rankings in that game are just way too lenient. But anyway, yeah, it's part of the reason why I actually am not really planning on doing a playthrough of Blazing Sword, because that game's fandom is just overrun with low turn counters, and that playstyle doesn't really appeal to me, so it gets kind of annoying having that shoved down your throat all the time. Anyway, we should be almost ready to lure Walhart over and end this. And there we go. Second seal. So yeah, one of those if we need to reclass someone. I'm actually going to open this with Sairi and Amatsu. Again, the reason being that Walhart has 1-2 range, so if I put Crom in his range for the first part of this, Crom would not be able to counter him, and Walhart would just be like, I like to say stand and fight fair, and yet I'm attacking you from range where you can't counterattack like a coward. Anyway, yes, Walhart can and will move off the throne. Probably a good thing to have him do that, because otherwise he would get a pretty massive defense and evasion bonus. Also, it's been requested that I do this after the transformation. And that's all of Mastermind. It's a pretty awesome song, and it does go into a bit of Don't Speak Her Name towards the end, which is pretty cool. This might also be the last time we get to hear Mastermind for a while, so that's why I did it now. Now, one cool thing about Walhart is that his Aegis skill, in a way, penalizes you for not fighting him in direct combat, so that fits his personality a bit. Then again, he still likes to fight you in indirect combat and be sort of a coward, but speaking of which, I think it's time to show Walhart that Virion is not the coward that everyone thinks he is. Though, actually, I am going to save here because I want to make sure I show off Crom's quote against Walhart. Because Crom is the only one who has a special conversation with Walhart this time. So, we're going to show that one at least.
We are picturesque. Such an easy time. That's everything?
Definitely proof that Virion is not the coward everyone thinks he is. And I'm not sure I'll be using away in this fight, so I may as well hit the event tile with him here. Leaves played, not bad. Now, let's see if we can... Okay, firstly... his daughter and son on that side. The character who helped us through this whole arc there. Lissa on the other side. And, yeah, Walhart will one-shot her, which is absolutely terrible. Now, let's end this, Walhart, once and for all.
A meager effort.
Listen to me.
Stand up and fight!
Think again.
And that's where the chapter title comes from. Oh, you did not just go there.
Wrong.
Now I'm angry.
I'll cover you. My turn. Back off.
Defeat.
And after defeating Walhart, Crom learns the skill Rightful King. Yeah, I set it up so this would happen. It just feels perfect from a symbolic perspective. And that doesn't, but oh well. Oh, hey, Kellum and Thario were the heroes. Interesting.
My lord.
It's finally over. The Conqueror has been conquered.
Yes.
We still have another bit of information about Crom's father here, and yeah, I kind of wish they'd, talk about this a bit more. If we even saw Crom's father, he sounds kind of interesting. Would have been cool to see a time when Yllis was, pretty much an evil empire in itself. Something I want to mention about the song that's playing now. This song plays for the end of every major act of the game. This is basically the end of Act 2. Now, this song's name on the soundtrack is one of the most enormous spoilers of all time. And it's really weird because, one, it's a song that plays before this spoilerific moment occurs, and two, in the Japanese version, this song did not have such a spoilerific name, so I don't know why they did that. Anyway, we have recovered Vert, which, is either the life sphere, not the life sphere, the geosphere or the star sphere, depending on if you're going for the original or the remakes, though it's most likely the geosphere.
Good.
So now we have 4 out of 5 gemstones. There's only one more, and it's... well, if you know your colours of the emblem, it's the Dark Sphere. I wonder who could possess the Dark Sphere right now.
Right.
But yeah, Crom's pretty much like, okay, let's forget that little distraction of an entire act just happened, and let's just go and continue on with the main story. Yeah, that's kind of an annoying thing I find about the Valm arc. In the greater scheme of things, it really does feel like filler, but it is over. Walhart was a pretty interesting villain nonetheless, though. Next time, now I would say we will be continuing with what Crom's doing, but I kind of want to get all of the child paralogs done before we go on to the very last act of the game. So, next time will be another side quest spree. So, see you all then.